All right, so it looks like the plot is thickening, and this Anton versus Corey Holcomb situation has apparently turned into Anton versus Oshay.
Designs on my desk when I get a notification sound. And I get this email. You should review the video of Anti-Millionaire Morning Show today and how he chose Fresh and Fit over you. Basically, but he said he knew you first. Shaking my head. It's the very beginning of the show. So
Oh boy, hate to see it. I hate to see it. So first thing I'm gonna do is I'm going to first and foremost set this straight. Okay, I have a huge amount of respect for both of these dudes. Okay, Oshay is the guy is one of the godfathers of this black male YouTube space. Okay. Nobody can take that away from him. And I'm gonna be honest, I may not agree with everything that Oshay says or everything that or his approach to everything, but at the end of the day, I respect the dude. I respect him. And I'm just saying that first and foremost, okay? And now, by the same token, Anton, I've been a consumer of Anton's content too. I watch them both. My views might align more with Anton, even though I'm not quite as extreme as he is. My views align more with Anton. But at the end of the day, I have respect for both of these dudes. So hopefully this don't come across the wrong way. But I mean, I'm just gonna call a spade a spade. I don't have any ducks in this fight. I don't.
say, oh damn, thanks, bro.
What people like to say, you biased and all that kind of stuff. No, I like both of these dudes. I like both of them, and I hate that this is happening. So I'm only gonna call it straight.
He says Jiggers would side with self-hating Jiggers. That's my issue with him years ago. I can't F with a black man or a woman who disowned their race. So I click on the link, and at the time that I'm trying to find out the spot that he's talking about, it is kind of hard because the stream is literally going at the time he's doing the stream. But literally, I found out where it was.
The reason that you have to give people grace is because I remember when I chose sides with the whole Fresh and Fit situation instead of objectively reviewing it, right? And I had to apologize to them in person, which I believe that I'm a better person because I'm a bigger man than most of these other people. But I had to apologize to them in person because I had chose sides on something that had nothing to do with me. But the reason that I chose sides, and I'm gonna keep it 100 with y'all, that's what I do on this platform. The reason that I chose sides and I had went against them was because I was friends with, at the time, Oshay Jackson.
So
okay. So you heard what Anton just said, right? Anton basically just said that for those of you that don't know, Oshay Jackson and has been very critical of Fresh and Fit. I mean, they do not like each other, and Fresh and Fit makes a lot. I mean, it goes back and forth, but it's more so Oshay. But Oshay he's vicious. You know what I mean? He's vicious. I'm not gonna lie. But the thing is, during this escapade, Fresh and Fit, they had issues with Abba and Preach and all that kind of stuff, and a lot of the people. For those of you that don't know, there's a thing called politics. You know what I mean? And I'm not big enough to be privileged to have to deal with these politics. Hopefully one day. But if you've been watching long enough and you watch these people, like I told you, I consume a lot of these people content. I've been watching these people a long time. When you see the politics and all that kind of stuff, you understand that that's what it is, right? And so because of that, you know what I mean, the code, you know what I mean? And both sides have been very vocal about this. People like Kevin Samuels had like a silent issue with Fresh and Fit. People like Oshay were more vocal about it. You know what I mean? All that type of thing. And so Anton is basically saying that he chose a side, and I think it was last year. But Anton went on the Fresh and Fit podcast. He went on their panel in person. Did some content with them, and in doing so, one of the things that happened is Anton actually apologized to them for picking sides and, kind of joining in on that type of thing. Now, I'll say this. Like I said, Oshay and them are kind of vicious. And sometimes I do think it teeters on the line of bullying, but that's neither here nor there. I do, and I'm going to be honest with you. I think it takes a big person. This is objectively. I think it objectively takes a big person to be able to say, you know what, man, I ain't really had no problem with y'all. I was just, I was just going along with it because of the people I was cool with, but I really don't got no problem with you. I can respect people like that. Now, I don't think that Anton was violating any code by doing that. Now, that being said, that's what the conversation is about. That's just a little pretense because, Oshay is going to have his response to it too.
Anton is saying that he chose a side against Fresh and Fit, literally because he was cool with me. He was cool with Kevin Samuels. So this is interesting. This is the framework. So he was against Fresh and Fit because we were against Fresh and Fit. I've already stated my case to problems that, Kevin had with Fresh and Fit. Donovan Sharp have talked about it before. And again, I was involved in a whole big Alvin Preach Fresh and Fit beef back in 2021. So what Anton is saying, listen, I was against Fresh and Fit simply because the homies was against Fresh and Fit. But he is the one saying that he chose sides. Now, a lot of you guys are on here acting as if I betrayed Anton or something like this. Me and Anton's association, our friendship went.
Now, first, just to address that point right there, right? I also think that what Oshay said holds some weight. And Anton did 100%. He 100% made the decision to choose a side. So you can't blame Oshay. You can't blame anybody else because you chose to choose a side. But like I said, I can respect the accountability. What more can you ask for when somebody's man enough to say, I was wrong, I shouldn't have did that, or I was wrong, I feel differently now than I did back then, or I was wrong, I should have handled that differently. I don't think either of these people are wrong so far.
Anton himself is saying that he chose sides. This is him saying this, not me. And then he said something else.
Because Oshay didn't care for him, and there was a narrative created against them as far as what Kevin Samuels and all of that, because Kevin Samuels never talked to me about Fresh and Fit ever, right? Because of that, I chose sides. Now, when I actually met Fresh and Fit in person, I realized, oh, y'all not bad people to me. Everybody else can have an opinion of them, but my experience with them is different, right? Now,
from my understanding, just to give a little context, because I don't want to minimize what Oshay's problem with Fresh and Fit is. I don't, like, me personally, I don't have no problem with it. I used to watch Fresh and Fit too. So look, just a little backstory. When I first started my whole self-improvement thing, basically my morning routine would be getting up in the morning, going to the gym, and listening to replays of Fresh and Fit or listening to replays on Kevin Samuels. That was my morning. While I'm in the gym, while I'm on the elliptical, while I'm doing my sets and all that stuff. But that's what that was my morning. So I've consumed all of these guys' content. Lapeef, I was listening to Lapeef in the mornings every Thursday. You know what I mean? Or every Friday, because the stream was on Friday. I mean, the stream was on Thursday night. And they got to the point where I could watch the live streams, but I decided to just wait so I could enjoy them in the mornings. That's how things started. You know what I mean? It was just my routine. And the issue, if I'm wrong, correct me, but one of the primary issues, I'm not going to say the only issue, but one of the primary issues that people like Kevin Samuels in particular had with Fresh and Fit is that if we're all in this together, we got to work together. So if we're going to work together, you can't be streaming when I'm streaming, because if you're doing that, you splitting the audience, and then we cutting each other's bag. So let's work out a way to do that. Now, to their defense, Fresh and Fit, Myron specifically, felt like they made attempts to work with Kevin Samuels, and that Kevin Samuels was just real uppity and it was his way. That's not my fight to fight, because at the end of the day, only they know what really happened. But you know what I mean? Everybody has this, it's the two sides of every story, and then there's the truth. So at the end of the day, Oshay has been very critical about Fresh and Fit, and I respect that. But I just want to not minimize what his issues are, because I think that Anton is doing that a little bit, and I think that that's fair. But at the end of the day, Anton is right. It wasn't his issue. So I understand why he's minimizing it, because that doesn't have anything to do with him. It didn't have anything to do with him. But with that being said, it just is what it is.
Interestingly enough, right? Oshay Duke Jackson says that he doesn't like me, he doesn't care about me, which is fine. That's perfectly fine. Everybody,
and this is, well,
can do what they want, right? Different, right? Now, interestingly enough, right? Oshay Duke Jackson says that he doesn't like me, he doesn't care about me, which is fine. That's perfectly fine. Everybody can do what they want to do. But it shows you the female mindset, because Oshay is controlled by his audience.
Jesus Christ.
He doesn't necessarily take a position. He takes the position of whatever the majority of the people are doing, right?
Jesus. All right. Let's go back to that, because I think what Anton did here is, I think it's a little bit disingenuous. Well, not really. It's disingenuous. And I'm gonna say this, like I said, as somebody who's objective. I don't have a dog in this fight. Well, kind of do, but look, I've been watching Oshay's videos, and I watch when Oshay posts content, and I've watched the videos that Oshay makes about Anton. Not once has Oshay ever said that he does not like Anton. Not one, publicly. Maybe he said it behind the scenes, but on his videos and his content, not once has Oshay ever said, and you guys can look it up, not once has Oshay ever said, I don't like Anton. He never said, I don't rock with Anton. That is a fact. Oshay does not rock with Anton's mentality, because Oshay is pro-black. Now, that I mean, you're allowed to have that opinion, right? And so I think that that's a mischaracterization, or maybe I don't think Anton is really understanding the content that Oshay, or what he was saying, or maybe there's something behind the scenes that we don't know. I can't speak to that. All I'm saying is that Oshay has never said in his videos that he doesn't like Anton. He's actually been pretty respectful. He just critiques his opinions and doesn't really. But I mean, that's just being fair. I gotta call a spade a spade. I've never heard him say that. I haven't. I haven't. And I do think that I'm not gonna lie, with the same token, I do think that Oshay can be like a puppet master. He does bully people, and he does, like, I'm not gonna say he like gathers the mob, but he definitely, like, y'all remember that fight, the dock fight between the white people and the black people? Oshay is definitely that dude who throws his hat up in the air, and it's like a signal call for the people to run over. You remember you had the guy jumping in the pool. he jumped in the lake, was swimming over towards them, jumped out, and then started fighting. Who does that? But yeah, and I think that guy is Oshay. I'm not gonna lie. That's my honest opinion. But I've never heard him say he doesn't like Anton. I do think that it is like either you with us or you not, or you can't sit with us type of thing. But I mean, it is what it is. That's everywhere. That's everywhere. And how can you not respect people that are like that because they live on code? It's their code. I don't have a problem with it. You know what I mean? I think maybe, you know what I mean, it kind of, it just, if I'm being honest, it's kind of, you know what I mean, I hate it because, not hate it, but you know what I mean, I hate that it's like this because, if they feel like that, you know what I mean, about him, they'll probably feel like that about me. And I prove every day that people don't really understand what I'm actually saying. You know what I mean? I can make a video about how Corey Holcomb and Anton Daniels proves something about Black culture, illustrate the points, and then people will say, "Oh well, two individuals doesn't validate Black culture," when you didn't listen to anything I said. So I mean, I think that might be what Anton is thinking, and so he's trying to, I guess, protect himself from that, or just shield himself from that. And so I think that might be where that's coming from. But again, like I said, Oshay never said anything about Anton personally. And calling him effeminate or saying this effeminate, I think is unwarranted in this situation. That I'll just leave it at that. I think that's unwarranted.
That he doesn't like me, he doesn't care about me, which is fine. That's perfectly fine. Everybody can do what they want to do. But it shows you the female mindset because Oshay is controlled by his audience. He doesn't necessarily take a position. He takes the position of whatever the majority of the people are doing, right?
Also, I don't think that's true either. Well, first of all, I think that's only, two parts, okay? I think Oshay does take a position because he's pro-Black. I mean, that's a position in itself. He's pro-Black, but I mean, he doesn't absolve the Black community. He just, you know what I mean, is just on code about the Black community. Now, with that said, I think every YouTuber is kind of controlled by the audience to a certain extent. I mean, to a certain extent. I mean, yeah, I don't think that's a fair statement to say, if I'm being honest.
Anton Daniels is saying that I'm being controlled by my audience. I'm thinking like a female, which is literally an insult to me, which I'm not going to respond to that because, like I said, Anton has already had a lot of mental stress. And again, I don't dislike Anton a lot. And I'm here to tell Anton this and anybody else. What me and Anton have an issue with is ideological. I mean, I've talked to this man on the phone. I've talked to his wife on the phone. So I do not hate Anton Daniels, okay? I am a pro-Black. That is my framework. I am a pro-Black. I do not hate Black people, okay? Now, this is where it gets different.
I knew Oshay before I knew.
And I'll say that I don't think that's fair because, or the insinuation is fair because I don't think Anton hates Black people either, because if Anton hated Black people, then he wouldn't work with predominantly Black people. I mean, I don't hate Black people myself. So, I mean, you know what I mean? I think that's an unfair characterization that often gets added to being critical of the culture. Because I think that people can't separate the culture from the people. The people influence the culture and the people are influenced by the culture, but they are still two distinct entities.
Myron and Fresh. I rocked with Oshay, right? I never took a position after I met Myron and Fresh, and I stayed completely out of whatever they had going on. Whatever it is that I go through or whatever it is that's happening, Fresh and Myron always hit me up and they never take a position. They just say, they give their opinion on whatever they get their opinion on. But when they talk to me, they just check on me and say, "Hey fam, everything good?" "Yep, everything good. I'm gonna come to Florida then." "Hey Anton, I'm gonna be in Michigan then. What's your schedule looking like?" And we figure it out. Oshay had my phone number. He's never called me for anything outside of gossip.
So he's saying that Fresh and Fit never did anything to him. And when he's going through something, that they will call him and check up on him. Let me kind of get to the crux of how Anton Daniels is trying to play this. Anton Daniels doesn't like the videos that I've been making about him. And from what I understand, Anton doesn't appreciate what I've been talking about here on social media. He's trying to deduce the arguments that I have been bringing against his ideology to just me being a feminine person or feminine in my thinking and being controlled by my audience. Now, to be honest, I have not said anything negative about Anton Daniels for a long time, right? It was many years that I didn't say anything negative. But what Anton Daniels is gonna say is the reason why I started to say something negative about him was because of my audience. Now, to be honest, what Anton Daniels will not tell you is I've called him. I've even talked about it on multiple videos over the past 2 years. I have talked about our ideological differences on the phone, about a lot of his opulence, showing off, you know, putting his wife and daughter in the videos, on the planes. I told him not to do these things. Okay, now if you want to come here and say that I didn't say that, all the YouTubers in the Black YouTube community that know me, they have talked to me before, they understand that's the kind of person I am. So my grievances with his ideology as a pro black man, as a black man who had a respect for Anton Daniels because he was married for 20 years, who took care of his daughter, who's a hardworking content creator. I can't not disrespect that about Anton Daniels. But the issue is that Anton Daniels doesn't want to be accountable for his behavior. Anton Daniels did something that Myron did, which is you're chasing a bag, the same thing with Fresh and Fit, on the backs of, you know, disrespecting the black community.
Okay, hold on. So one thing I'll say, I think Oshay has a right to have a disagreement with Anton's position. I think that that's fair. I personally, like I said, I lean more towards his ideology than, you know, than a pro-black ideology. But I think that he's allowed to have that, you know, that idea. What the part that I don't agree with is how he's, you know, he's kind of framing it like, oh, he's like Anton's just doing this, you know, just to, you know what I mean? Because you notice
Daniels doesn't want to be accountable for his behavior. Anton Daniels did something that Myron did, which is you're chasing a bag, the same thing with Fresh and Fit, on the backs of, you know, disrespecting the black community, the same community that you grew up in. And of course you can choose sides with Myron because that fits your narrative, okay?
that's the part I don't agree with, because like it's like I believe that Anton really believes what he says. And so I don't think that he's pandering or just, you know, building it off the, you know, off the backs of the black culture. I think that he talks about black culture because he's one, he grew up in it is technically a black person. So regardless of, as a personal divester myself, you know what I mean? That doesn't mean that I'm not familiar with black culture. You see it every day. And so, of course, you're going to comment on it because it's familiar to you. Now, the problem is that with that does come people that just want you to crap on black culture or that only support you for that. And I haven't figured out how to navigate that because honestly, you know what I mean? I don't want to just sit up and dump on black culture all the time. I only do it to prove a point. And so, I mean, like I said, I mean, you know, there can always be balance, but I don't think that Anton is pandering. I genuinely don't.
And if you want to understand why I went public against you or against your ideology, because our frameworks don't match up. And then what happens is with somebody like you, especially when I live, or at least profess to live the lifestyle that I'm living, there is no way for our ideologies to continue to match. Okay, I've talked to you about this before. I've asked you, you know, that you should consider or reconsider how you feel. But of course, you can be friends with a person like Myron who hate black people. Okay, and then the whole situation that you're going through now, which is unfortunate, and it's bad that Corey went that far. You know, your daughter got involved in this for no reason.
Absolute rot. It was terrible. I hate he did that too. It's terrible. It's disgusting. I'm gonna be honest with you. Absolutely disgusting.
You know, your wife is being thrown into this. And a part of that, Anton, is because of your behavior, because of the hatred that you put out every day on your channel. I mean, you never expected that it would come out. And so even 3 months ago, when I was talking about this, like, yo, man, like, the black community gives Anton Daniels what it deserves. It's not because you chose Fresh and Fit over me, bro. I understand the game. I mean, you're more successful as a content creator than me now, but I have a long history of being very successful in Black YouTube. I know guys go to different channels. I've had a long-standing beef with the Angry Man. Anybody can even say that if I hate anybody or dislike anybody on this platform, it's definitely the Angry Man. Me and Angry Man do not like each other for anything. It's the #1 person that I've always disliked the most, okay? We don't talk about each other that much anymore. And
I watch Angry Man too.
it's kind of dead in the water, but everybody knows that. You brought the Angry Man to Detroit. I didn't feel no kind of way about that. I was still respectful towards you. I would come in super chat. Why? And because you dealt with the Angry Man, you probably did not know all of which, the beef is that we had. And of course, I was immature to a certain degree in that beef, a little bit older now, and I could have handled things a lot better with the Angry Man. He still started the beef, but I could have handled it a lot better. No doubt about it, right? So again, if I had any intention on not dealing with you at all, it would have been then. But everything that I deal with when I talk about Anton Daniels, I never talk about what he looks like. I never talk about his family. I never talk about anything. I don't even call Anton Daniels names. I deal with the framework and why I feel his institutional framework is wrong. And the reality is that Anton Daniels cannot deal with my framework. He doesn't have an answer for it. So the only answer for it is to say, well, you know what, Oshay, what you're saying is irrelevant because you're controlled by your audience. There is nobody more controlled by their audience than you, Anton Daniels. I mean, look.
I don't think that, one, he's right. Like I said, every content creator that's successful is controlled by their audience to a certain extent. That being said, I don't think that Anton doesn't have an answer for you, Oshay. I genuinely don't believe that. I don't think that it's not that he can't do that. I think he might not understand that side of it. You know what I mean? Or I don't know. I could be wrong. I could be 100% wrong. I'm just observing. I could be wrong.
What you do to get your audience. You go to Fox News. You go to Fresh and Fit. You go to every platform that dehumanizes and hates Black Americans that you can build an audience on, okay? You go and you intentionally go and seek out that audience to build around you. You go and use the same talking points. You associate yourself with Jason Whitlock. You call yourself a Christian. You love Jesus. But we see that you got 5.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, man. Oh, man.
According to you, you got all kind of chicks. You always with a bad one. See, it's your hypocrisy that's on trial here, bro, not how I personally feel about you. I never said I didn't care about you. In fact, I'm going to tell you something, man. When Corey Holcomb went after your daughter and after your wife, to be honest, it hurt me. And this is a person that really is at a point a fan of both of you guys, right? I mean, I still, rock with Corey. And there's certain things that you talk about that I definitely agree on. I just can't get with a lot of that stuff. And a person who really feels like that, I really can't trust, okay? But I was hurt. I was hurt that it got this far for the both of y'all to see both the people I'm associated with going at each other like that, and it got this far. I'm a 44-year-old Black dude about to be 45. I don't want to see your family dehumanized or Corey being dehumanized. I don't want to see that. I think that that's just a bad look for everybody involved. But for you to sit up there and say that the reason why I'm doing that is because, I'm catering to my audience. To be honest, my audience for the whole time used to always get on me because I wouldn't talk about you. That was the reality. And I didn't really care about what they thought. But when I just kept hearing the framework and know the reparations and Black people are this and Black people are that and immigrants are this and immigrants are that, I just didn't believe that you knew what you were talking about when it came to certain things. So I had to come out and challenge that. And one of the reasons why I can't be fake and still call you and act like me buddy, when your framework and me just don't get along. It's not that I dislike you. I don't dislike you. I'm pretty sure if I was to see you, hey bro, how you doing? And buy you a drink or whatever, man. But somebody who thinks like you about Black people, I can't rock with, because as a pro-Black, it's to the core of who I am to feel positive about Black people. And
that's the thing. Okay, so my problem with that is I've had a lot of friends, that aren't really close friends anymore because of ideological differences. And I mean, it's per the course. It just comes with it. I mean, I don't understand why you would go as far as to say, "Oh, I don't rock with you because of that." Like, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like if you really are like, if you cool with somebody, you're gonna be cool with them, man. So that's the thing. So maybe that's why Anton is taking it the way he is. But again, I've never heard Oshay say he don't like Anton. I've never heard him say anything about Anton personally. So I mean, I think that maybe that might be why he's taking it the way he's taking it. I don't know. Like I said, I'm just calling it down the middle. I don't think, you know what I mean? I don't ever think that there's a situation where anybody is perfect in the situation at all.
A social critic too about the black community, about the Pan-African world. I say a lot of...
And also, like I said earlier, I'm repeating it, but I don't think that Anton hates black people. So I also, just like I think that Anton calling or saying that Oshay's mindset is effeminate, and just like I think that's unwarranted, I think it's unwarranted to say that Anton hates black people because his actions prove that he doesn't hate black people. And I think that just because he's critical of black people, or I think that just because he's critical to the level that he is, and he aligns with people who might be even more critical, doesn't mean that he hates black people. And I don't think that's a fair assessment.
Crazy stuff about black people, online and offline. But the reality is that what we're dealing with is your hypocrisies. You're the one on trial. It's been your behavior that has caused all of this calamity and damage and exposures to your family.
And just to clarify that, I mean that because Anton has been very clear that he doesn't rock with the culture. Now, if you believe that black people are only defined by the culture, then I mean that just is what it is. But I personally also don't believe that black people is the exact same entity or is interchangeable with black culture. I just don't believe that. And also, I don't believe that all black culture is bad. I do think it needs to be revised. It needs to be revamped. 100%.
All this other stuff. And if you want to choose Fresh and Fit, choose that. You see what happened to their platform, didn't you? You see what road they went down, didn't you? You see how they went down to be demonetized, going over there caping for whites, and then alienating their own base. And that's the same direction that you're going on. And you think that they're your friends now until they're not, okay? You're not special. I hope you don't think that. You're not special, bro. You're also black. Myron and Fresh and Fit, they hate black people. And as soon as it comes an opportunity for them to do the same thing to your ass, they will, okay? And so again, if you want to dress it up as something that it's not, that's cool.
Yeah, Myron and Teeter Tyler's on that line. Myron might really hate black people. I'm not gonna lie to you.
You got to go ahead and go to bed.
Well, I'm not gonna say he hates black people because he doesn't, obviously. But I mean, Myron might hate ninjas. He might hate ninjas.
Put it at night. But the reality is that I have been a social critic based on Anton Daniels' institutional framework. I'm dealing with that. I'm not dealing with anything else. I don't dislike Anton as a person. I don't really trust him. You ain't gonna see me trying to deal with him or anything like that because I'm real. But at the same time, I hate what's happened to Anton.
That's what I mean. I think it's very extreme to say, "Oh, I don't trust you" just because I don't deal with or like your ideological beliefs. You know what I mean? But we could all do that, honestly. I mean, if we all do, that's contributing to the segregation and the separation. That's my thing. But I mean, maybe that just is the way it is. Maybe that just is human nature, and there's no way around it. But the attempt is to judge people based off of their character and how they move and how they operate, not just if they're black people and on code. That's what I personally rock with. I've been down the pro-black road. So.
And unfortunately, I think that Anton has enough talent to not go in the direction that he's going to get views and to get money. He's paying a great price for this fame that he's running after. He's paying an extreme price. His daughter is paying a price. People in his family are paying a price. His wife is paying a price for Anton Daniels' fame and attempt to get money online. And I don't think it's worth that. That's all I'm saying. And if you want to talk about somebody being a real friend, I think that's exactly what I'm doing. I've told you this offline. I'm telling you this online. I have no intention on having a beef with you, a person that I have talked to before, a person that I have thought that I've admired their work ethic, none at all. But our frameworks cannot mix. That's just what it is. It just cannot. And I've done that before, trying to be cool with people who have a negative aspect of Black America and trying to hear what they have to say. And my brother George Macon, I want to give him a shout out, my big bro. He said, you can't be friends with people like Anton Daniels. He didn't mention Anton by name, but he did mention Brandon Tatum. He didn't mention Candace Owens. And you cannot be friends about a person who dislikes their own community, who will not give his community any kind of a fair shake, but will sit right there. And he will not talk about the same racism that Fresh and Fit get from the alt-right. He don't ever talk about that. He loved Fresh and Fit so much, and he loved the framework. He wanted to be associated with them. Talk about how, the Charlie Kirk supporters don't like Myron. Talk about how the Charlie Kirk supporters don't like Fresh. Talk about how the alt-right calls them those names and bad names. And then, so what does being anti-Black get you? It gets you in a bad situation that you don't need to be in. I don't want those problems. I'm sorry. So I'm going to speak on that once. Again, I'm publicly saying I don't have problems with Anton Daniels. I'm not looking to beef with Anton Daniels. But if Anton Daniels wants to make my criticism of his behavior, of his hypocrisy, of how he carries himself online and offline, and try to turn this into something about me being a feminine-minded person or being controlled by my audience, I will tell you that Anton Daniels is a fucking liar.
Jesus. Whew. Yeah, again, I mean, like I said, I respect both of these dudes, and honestly, I mean, I think that there's valid points on both sides, but I mean, I don't think that calling anti-black is fair all at the same time. And at the same time, like I said, I don't think it was necessarily warranted for Anton to say that Oshay is being effeminate in this situation. You know what I mean? Because I know why he would think that, but like I said, it's unwarranted because Oshay hasn't done anything to him. By the same logic that he said Fresh and Fit haven't done anything to him, Oshay. But again, we don't know what's going on. I don't know if Oshay said that he just doesn't rock, because Oshay then said that he doesn't trust Anton. So I mean, maybe he said that to somebody else and he got back to Anton, so that's how Anton's taking it. You know what I mean? I think that this could go both sides. So I mean, honestly, if Oshay's saying that the ideological thing is gonna be that strong of a barrier, then there probably will never be a resolution. But I hope that they can at least get to the point of being cordial. But I definitely think that people aren't necessarily giving Anton a fair chance as far as just writing him off as being anti-black. I just don't think that's fair. I mean, I don't think Anton is anti-black because, like I said, he works with predominantly black people, he employs black people, and he's around black people. I mean, so uh, I don't know, guys. Let me know your thoughts on this. I don't know. Jeez.